Whoa, look at this beanstalk. What's it doing here? It reminds me of a story that I once read. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Kevid and I study at Sovannaphumi School, Jambuwan, 1 Tempus. Today I'm going to be presenting you and telling you about a story. This title story is Jack's Tale, and it's a fairy tale story. But let's begin. Once upon a time there lived a boy and his mom. The boy and his mom was very poor, so they decided to sell their cow. Jack took the cow and went to the market. When he was on his way, he met a strange man. The man wanted to trade his 5 beans for the cow. So Jack asked, "What's so special about these beans?" The man replied by saying, "Know this, Jack, these beans are magical." Jack didn't remember telling this man his name. So he said, "I love magic," and traded the cow for the beans. When he traded it, he ran back home as fast as he could. When he was at home, his mom asked, "How much did you get for the cow?" So Jack proudly showed her the 4 beans in his hands. The 5th one is stuck deep in his pocket. When he proudly showed it to her, Jack's mom was mad. She was hopping mad. She took the beans and threw it out the window. She was disappointed in Jack. But the next day, the beanstalk began to grow and grew up to the clouds. Jack woke up and saw this, so he decided to climb the beanstalk. When he reached the top, he saw a nearby castle. Surely enough, he went in. When he went in, he heard a loud and roaring voice. "Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread," the giant said. Jack was terrified of this sentence and hid in a nearby cabinet. When he hid in there, he saw the giant and a goose. The goose was laying golden eggs. The giant was feeding himself donuts, and he fed one to the goose. The giant began to fall asleep. Jack decided to take this opportunity and steal the goose, and also stole 1 donut along the way. When he stole the goose and the donut, he tiptoed away from the castle. The giant managed to wake up and see Jack leaving the castle, so he chased after them. Jack was running for his life. He was scrambling down the beanstalk and saw his mom and yelled, "Mom, Mom, get the axe!" And so Jack's mom got the axe for Jack. Jack grabbed the axe and chopped the beanstalk down with all his might until it toppled over. The giant fell off the beanstalk and landed in the ground with a large crash. It began to fill with dust. When the dust settled, Jack and his mom decided to creep over and see how the giant's doing. The giant was moaning and shouting. His leg was broken. And so Jack's mom was confused and asked Jack, "What's going on?" Jack explained by saying, "I stole this goose. It lays golden eggs." Giant looked at Jack and said, "You stole my goose. She lays perfect golden eggs." Jack looked at the giant and said, "You're a man-eater." They shouted and shouted and shouted at each other until Jack's mom had an idea. "What if you stay here until your leg fully heals?" Jack's mom said to the giant. The giant responded by saying, "But how will I get back to my castle?" Jack reached in his pocket and pulled out a 5th beanstalk and showed it to his mom and the giant. The giant was surprised. "Fine," the giant grumbled. And so the giant began to live with Jack and his mom. When a few months passed, the giant's leg have been fully healed, and so he took his goose and stuffed it in his pocket and climbed back up the beanstalk. But once in a while, the giant would come back down and visit them and enjoy a nice big bowl of green bean soup, and also leave them golden eggs. That is the end of the story. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be wondering, what is the moral lesson of this story? The moral lesson of this story is to take risks and chances on what lies in front of you, even if it's a reward or not. Like, look at the story. Jack took a lot of risk. He traded the cow for the beans, even though he doesn't even know if it was real or not. And he made the choice to steal the goose. He couldn't have been caught and eaten by the giant. And he took the risk of helping the giant. The giant is a dangerous creature, and he did have to help, but he did. And so what did he gain from these risks? He gained the friendship and golden eggs that the giant leaves for them. That is the appreciable reward. Now there's a saying, to know what life is worth, you need to make risk once in a while. That is the saying and the moral lesson in this story. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and thank you so much for your time.
សាលារៀនសុវណ្ណភូមិជាសាលាចំណេះទូទៅខ្មែរធំជាងគេនិងល្អជាងគេនៅកម្ពុជា